Hey guys, I'm going to tell you all the story of me and Raise Red. I don't know about you all, but I am a little bit tired of isolation. I have been living with isolation since I was 7 years old. 7. That's when I was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. I had my first brain surgery at 7 years old, and after that, I started my first round of chemotherapy at the old chemotherapy clinic. Every single person who worked at the clinic was pure gold. But the old clinic itself was not very comfortable. We got there early every time to try to get my chemo in under 5 or 6 hours. Dr. Bartoloni let me go get my chemo treatments on Mondays because that was my resource day at school. And we saw Dr. Raj so I could be there for real school. Kids with cancer fight hard to go to school. We actually want to be there. Being normal is so important when you are fighting cancer. When I sat there on those long days in the cold blue vinyl chair, I let my mind wander to happy thoughts to help me get through the not-so-happy treatments I was getting. Happy thoughts for me then was simply all of the normal things kids did, like being with friends, playing sports, going to parties, and having fun. I closed my eyes and visualized what I could to help me get through the chemo. I was lucky my classmates supported me so much on the serious roller coaster ride that took me all over the country seeking treatments for the next several years. But now, during this pandemic, don't we all appreciate the normal things? Like being able to go to school, playing and watching sports, going to parties, and eating at restaurants? Kids with cancer have to avoid these things often, even when there isn't a pandemic going on. So, when we finally come out of isolation, after this pandemic is over, I know we will all appreciate the normal things, just like a kid with cancer does. As a freshman in high school, I needed a big brain surgery in Boston. It was so hard trying to go to normal freshman year events, like my freshman dance, and juggle a new school, then flying straight to Boston for a craniotomy that lasted 11 hours. I even got my braces off early because they messed up my surgery scans. Even something as normal as braces are not normal when you have cancer. At this time, that is when two of the many awesome nurses at the clinic, Michelle and Autumn, told me about a new event called Raise Red. After talking to them about it, I knew I definitely wanted to participate. I had spent many hours in the treatments daydreaming about helping my beloved clinic. I knew I had to be a part of this event. I went to Raise Red on a Saturday morning, having no idea what a dance marathon really was. I got on stage and told my story. 9 rounds of chemotherapy, 12 brain surgeries, 6 weeks of experimental radiation. When I finished, then it happened. I felt the most powerful healing force I have felt since I was diagnosed. Not a drug, not a surgery, not some fancy experimental treatment. No, this was something much stronger and more powerful than all of those things combined. It was a roar of applause and cheering from 1,000 college kids who cared about me. Suddenly, in that moment, I felt special and felt that people cared about me. I also realized in this moment all that I had been through along my cancer journey leading up until then. How often can a regular person feel like a rock star? I soaked it up, I absorbed it, and I knew this force would be what helped carry me through my treatments. After my first Raise Red throughout the year, when I had to sit on those cold blue vinyl chairs, in my mind I dreamed about that special memorable night in February. Every year to get to that amazing event each February, to each Raise Red, was honestly a battle, because I had to be well enough for it. I have lived for Raise Red every year since. Raise Red is truly my Christmas. After my 9th round of chemo, I was feeling really good. I had been stable for more months than ever before. I spoke to the dental students for Raise Red, and our beloved Dr. Raj said the words to me and my mom, words I had always been afraid to say. He said, "Anna Maria, you are in remission." I was still afraid to say it. I waited about 6 more months and I didn't tell my family or my friends. Why, might you ask, was I so scared to say this word? Because I knew who I needed to tell it to first. I knew the perfect setting to share my good news. I, of course, had to share it with all my amazing dancers who fought right along with me all these years. I want you all to know you are not just dancing. You are really making a difference firsthand in these patients and their families' lives. Seeing how powerful the relationship between the patients and the dancers was Cardinal Crew was created. This is a special mentorship between the dancers and the patients. Suddenly, I had a peer who was personally pulling for me. I have letters from my Raise Red people and frames. The kind words you all have spoken to me are so encouraging and powerful. Cancer makes you isolated, and having support from peers is priceless. My treatment that brought me remission was so much easier on me than the early treatments I had to receive. The money that you guys are dancing for is truly directly impacting patients by making treatments easier and less harsh for them. Coming from someone who has done 9 different rounds of chemo, I can say that the funds that you all are raising truly makes a difference. The new clinic is now as special as the people who work there. Although, one final note. The strongest healing force that has carried me throughout all of my treatments is you guys. All of my Raise Red family. You dancers truly have the power in you to heal. I owe my remission to you all. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And I know we are all over isolation and COVID and this pandemic, so let's just hold on to those happy thoughts if we can all get together again to dance. Let's put our L's up and get ready to party!